Community Bank, Philly Marble and the Philly Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. Visit phillymarble.com. Jenkins Plumbing and Heating. Call Jenkins for heating and air conditioning installation, service and maintenance, plumbing, or drain cleaning service. 609-641-6440 or jenkinsplumbingandheating.com. Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ilovelylback.com. And J&M Elite Contractors Roofing and Siding. Check out their great reviews at jmelitecontractors.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media, South Jersey.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hinnant.
Let's go!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Let's go!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hinnant.
Well, I think many of us thought the Eagles were going to win the game yesterday, but I don't think many of us thought they would win it that way. Josh Hinnant hanging out with you. Day after the Eagles win, what are your thoughts on what was a dominant performance by Philadelphia? 609-403-0973. Also your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. We got to get to the Eagles. We got Rob Motti from the Associated Press joining us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. You guys can join the conversation on the text board, on the mobile app through the DMs, thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. And, of course, we got Monday Night Football tonight. Rams and Dolphins, two teams fighting for playoff relevancy, for goodness sake. I mean, that game's going to be... You know what? I don't think it's going to be a bad game. Can I just say that real quick? I'll get my pick for later, but I just want to say, I don't think Dolphins-Rams is going to be a bad game. I think you have two teams that have had tumultuous seasons, and it has created a perception that this might not be a great game. You know, it's a bad game. Giants and Panthers in Germany, okay? So today, which is Veterans Day, by the way, thank you all who have served our country in whatever branch of the military you have been in. I know that for a lot of you out there, you know, it's a humbling reminder for some of you of what you have been through, but we thank you for your service, and it's because of your service that we can sit here and talk football for the next hour. So thank you all, wherever you are listening to us on 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, wherever you're getting the show. Thank you for your service. All right. But because of your service, we can watch Rams Dolphins tonight. And because of your service, we got to see the Eagles beat down the Cowboys. And I got to tell you guys, I am not the person who sits there and says, well, you beat the Cowboys. Well, you're supposed to beat that team. I don't play those games. You guys know me long enough here on 97.3 ESPN. If you were running into me yesterday at Doyle's Poorhouse at Tuckerton when we watched the Eagles in person dominate the Cowboys, if you're one of the people who won one of our many prizes, the commemorative Eagles football, the Boxing Insider promotion tickets for this Saturday's boxing event in Atlantic City, the Disney on Ice VIP passes, if you're someone who won any of the prizes we gave away yesterday at Doyle's Poorhouse, congratulations. We thank you for coming out and joining us to watch the game. But any of you who have talked to me over the years, whether it's in person or texted in at 609-403-0973, you know that my position is I am not going to sit here and belittle you for beating the team you're supposed to beat. I am not going to be the person who is going to sit there and say, oh, well, whatever, you beat the Cowboys. I don't play those games. This is the NFL. We see teams get upset all the time. I mean, I still don't know how the Lions won that game last night. They had 5 turnovers in the game, and they won it. The Eagles got 5 turnovers yesterday, and they destroyed the Cowboys. Now, I don't know what's more of an indictment. Is the indictment that the Eagles got 5 turnovers against a bad team? Or is the indictment the Texans got 5 turnovers, but they lost the game to the Lions? I don't know what the bigger indictment is if we're going to play the indictment game, okay? The NFL is a week-to-week league. It is all about matchups. It is all about competition. The Patriots, ever since they started Drake May, they have covered the spread in every game he has started. And then they go to Chicago yesterday, and they dominate a Bears team that looks like it's had no life since they lost that Hail Mary game to Washington a couple weeks ago. While the Bears seemingly can't win a game, the Patriots have won 2 of their last 3, and the game they lost in overtime to a Tennessee team that is fighting for some sort of positive on their season. Look what happened with the Steelers in Washington yesterday. That was a close game to the very, very end. I still don't understand how this Chiefs team is undefeated. I mean, this Chiefs team just can't do anything right. I mean, you can go game by game and be like, well, they should have lost for this reason. If they don't block that kick yesterday, okay, if Denver has half a brain and realizes that they are going to blitzkrieg the one guy who's the weakest link on the line, and they make that field goal, Chiefs aren't undefeated. So I will not be the person who belittles the Eagles for winning a game they're supposed to win. And part of the reason why they won that game was because of how Jalen Hurts responded to his mistakes. That interception in the end zone should never happen. I don't care what planet you're from. I don't care what reality you live in. Jalen Hurts throwing that interception was a complete and utter embarrassing throw. He was trying to make a play happen that the window closed before he ever threw the ball. But we got to give him credit that after the interception and after the fumble, he responded. 7 for 12, 2 touchdown passes after the interception and the fumble. So yeah, Jalen Hurts was part of the reason why the Eagles could have lost the game, but he didn't wallow in misery. He didn't drop his head. He recalibrated. He got back out there. He listened to the coaches, and he got the job done. He responded. And now you're talking about a guy in Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback in NFL history with a touchdown pass, a rushing touchdown, and a quarterback rating of 100 or higher in 4 consecutive games. Lamar Jackson has only done it in 3 games. That's what we're talking about with Jalen Hurts. And Chris Long on the Greenlight podcast talked about that we are starting to see Jalen Hurts be good again.
So Jalen Hurts looked really good in some spots, man. And I think he has looked. I would make a case for Jalen Hurts generally looking as good as he looked in a year as of late. Some of the balls he's throwing outside the numbers, that looks like, that looks like vintage, if there is such thing as a vintage Hurts, A.J. Brown connection, the vertical passing element.
I think it's a great point by Long. Hurts is starting to look like the guy we thought he would be again. And I think that's a big part of this conversation. For the Eagles to make a legitimate playoff run, they need their quarterback to show up. We learned yesterday how unimportant the quarterback is for certain teams. Jared Goff had one of the worst games I have ever seen. Patrick Mahomes was having the worst statistical year of his entire career. Okay? You look around the NFL. There's only one other team in the league where the quarterback is that extremely important to their team as it is for Philadelphia with Hurts, and that's Buffalo. To me, Josh Allen is the league MVP. That dude went to Indianapolis on the road and helped his team win a game without Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman, with injuries at multiple positions on that team. And he said, put on the cape, get on my back, boys. We're riding to this victory. And similar to what Jalen Hurts did later in the day. Hurts didn't look at that interception and that fumble as, woe is me, I'm the worst, I can't do anything right. He slapped himself in the face, not literally but figuratively, and said, wake up, get yourself back in this game. Your team needs you. And the moment that he threw that touchdown to Dallas Goedert, that was the moment you realized, oh, snap. Jalen snapped out of it. Chris Long, about that touchdown drive at the end of the first half, said this on the Greenlight podcast.
The end of the half was such a huge moment. You talk about this team hadn't won in Dallas in a while. Like, it's just not something they do generally, right? Like, Dallas has been a house of horrors. For a team like the Eagles to come in and do this, where at the end of the second quarter, you're kind of like, are we leaving them in this game? And then to go 85 yards in 84 seconds or whatever it was, that was the big deal.
That's the big deal. He's 100% right, because the week before, you had a 22-0 lead, and you let the Jags back into the game. In this game, you went out there and said, we are not going to let this team hang around. And I told you guys on Friday was one of my keys to the game here on 97.3 ESPN. I said it on Friday's game night. I said it with Billy Schweim in the locker room yesterday morning. We all talked about this for the last few days. You let the Jags back into the game. You can't do that with the Cowboys. You were leading 14-6 at halftime. You never let the Cowboys score another point. You never gave them another opportunity to have hope. That's the reason why you won the game. It was willpower. It was desire. It was want to. That's the reason why you won the game. That's the reason why the Eagles have won 5 straight games. They've wanted it more than the Cowboys, basically the entire season. The Cowboys are a hopeless, listless team with players now ripping their own head coach. They are a bunch of losers. The Eagles are not. And now you go 3 days from now, right here on 97.3 ESPN, Merrill Reese and Mike Quick call the game when you take on the only other good team in your division. You have the opportunity to separate yourself, to be the only team in your division to not lose a game to your division opponents when you play Washington Commanders this Thursday night. You were able to rest your players at the end of that game yesterday. That was a huge move because now you are going to be mostly healthy going into the game on Thursday night. Now, I understand Darius Slay left the game. He's got another injury, this time his ankle. He's been banged up all year. I feel like it's not enough time for him to come back. And I know that they activated Jordan Mailata, but I don't expect him to be available either. And honestly, you don't need him against a team like Washington because Washington's pass rush is pretty subpar. What's dangerous about Washington, we'll get into it more in the couple coming days, which is it is their offense. Jaden Daniels is the truth. And you got to make sure you do not let him have an opportunity to win that game. If you were watching the Steelers-Washington game earlier before the Eagles game, you saw a team in Pittsburgh that thought they were going to win that game pretty straightforward, okay? That game, they were leading they were down 17-14 at halftime. But the vibe felt like the Steelers were going to win that game. It felt like the Steelers were going to steal the energy of that game back. But then coming out of halftime, boom, here comes Washington for the touchdown. Steelers, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, we're already down 24-14. What happened? The Steelers were one of the best defenses in football, and they had to scrape and claw to get back into that game. They are fortunate they got the interception to stop. They're fortunate that they had an interception and they had a fumble and they still found a way to win that game because that's how good Washington's offense is. And that's the thing with Philadelphia. You don't need to worry about Washington's defense as much as you got to worry about their offense. We'll get into more into it throughout the week. But coming up next, Rob Motti from the Associated Press joins me right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging out with you in the Ocean Casino Resort studios.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season on Thursday Night Football, hosting their NFC East rivals, the Washington Commanders.
He is going deep down the far side of the field. Sleeping back to bed.
Pre-game coverage starts at 7 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 8:15. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Tired of hearing no? Everywhere you go, we turn no into go during Black Nissan's November sales event. Say no to high-priced new cars. Brand new Matte Black Nissan Sentra S, just $19,999. Say no to low trade offers. AJ the Trade Man wants your trade, no matter the make, miles, or condition. Say no to down payments. Say no to payments for 90 days. And say no to high interest rates. 60 months, 0% financing on every clearly marked new Nissan. Backed by Matt Black's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Tired of hearing no to a discount on a new ride? New 25 Sentra S, under 20 grand.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Black Nissan.
Approved Tier 1 credit for Negative equity finance. PIN number SY231649. MSRP 22,730 plus tax tag at $689.98. Offers can't be combined 0% for 60 months. Call 877-289-6667 or go to MattBlackNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 12/5/24. It's on at Matt Black Nissan. The Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot. If you're working on getting ready for company,
a lot of company,
make sure you're ready with Black Friday savings. Get up to 40% off select appliances, plus up to an extra $1,000 off select kitchen appliances. Upgrade your kitchen with top brands like GE Profile and get sleek cutting-edge appliances to make sure you
got hosting handled.
Yeah, you do. Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances this holiday at the Home Depot. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Fall into savings. Sage Jewelers, the real jeweler, is offering the latest in diamond jewelry.
Sage Jewelers has GIA diamonds and the most exquisite diamond engagement rings. Come see the selection of lab-grown diamond and fashion jewelry, all up to 40% off. Plus, the Sage Jewelers watch selection is second to none.
Sage Jewelers expert jewelers can also customize anything.
Sage Jewelers, your fall into savings headquarters, all up to 40% off on Tilton Road in Northfield.
New Jersey might be small, but there's a lot of wow packed into this little state. Cork-popping wows, time-to-dine wows, Pine Barren wows. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lot of wow.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. The Sixers expect Joel Embiid to return to the lineup, making his season debut Tuesday night, hosting the New York Knicks. Embiid has missed the first part of the season while he manages a knee injury. Philadelphia snapped a 5-game losing skid Sunday where they beat Charlotte 107-105 in overtime. Jared McCain with 27 points. Tyrese Maxey expected to miss a few weeks with a hamstring strain. He'll be reevaluated for that injury later this week. Eagles with a 34-6 rout of the Dallas Cowboys Sunday, winning their 5th in a row. They raised their record to 7-2. Now on top of the NFC East by a half game over Washington. Jalen Hurts accounted for 4 touchdowns, threw for 2, ran for 2 more, and the defense forced 5 Dallas turnovers. NHL, the Flyers hosting San Jose tonight. Philadelphia will play 6 of their next 7 games at home. Saturday, they lose in the shootout to the Florida Panthers 4-3. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know millions of people are getting prescription medications for weight loss, sexual health, better sleep, and more, all online? RexMD.com has made getting these medications fast and easy, with free delivery of the most popular medications right to your door. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, we'll prescribe and ship clinically proven options to help with issues like weight loss.
I've lost 45 pounds so far. It's nice to get back into clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a long time.
We can also help with insomnia.
I slept through the whole night. It made me feel very well rested and ready to go for the day.
And RexMD can improve your sexual health.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is happier. I am definitely much happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. It's been one of the warmest starts to November on record, and now it's time for temperatures to turn more seasonable. Get ready for a chill in the air, settling in by this time tomorrow. Tonight, mainly clear and dry, breezy and cool, low 48. Tomorrow's high only 55, much cooler, sunny and windy tomorrow. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of only 52. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Hey, Frank, looks like business is booming. What are all those tabs you have open on your computer?
Oh, hey. Well, this one is for my SEO company. This one is for my website company. This one is for my CRM. This is for invoicing and estimates. This one does email, and this one does billing.
Geez, that sounds tricky to manage.
It's clunky, but I need all this to run my business. Wait, you run your own business, and you're even busier than I am. Don't you have all this stuff, too?
I do, but I get it all on one screen with the Town Square Business Management Platform.
What's that?
The Town Square Business Management Platform is an all-in-one tool that helps me grow and run my business. It combines website, billing, and scheduling into one program.
That sounds simpler than juggling all the tools I have now, but you still need someone else to help you find new business, right?
Nope. They have powerful digital advertising built into the platform as well, which helps me keep my calendar full. You can get a demo of the product for free. Check out their website. See if it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Town Square Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We'll get back to text board in just a bit. I see you, David and Violin. Appreciate you chiming in on 609-403-0973. But right now, as promised, joining us to get more into, I can't believe it's November 11th, Veterans Day. It's already week 10 of the NFL, and Rob Maaddi joins us here on 97.3 ESPN to get more into what we saw from the teams around the NFL, as well as the Eagles as they prepare for Thursday football showdown with Washington. Rob, welcome in. How you doing today?
What's going on, Josh? Before we get started, a special thank you to all the military veterans out there for their commitment, their sacrifice, and everything that they've done for us. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, Rob. I said, we get to look at these football games as we are because of their sacrifice. So, that's the thing we got to keep in mind with that, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I thought it was cool before. I think it was the Bucks, wherever Brady was yesterday. I'm losing track of people, but yeah, the Bucks game. They gave him the microphone to say a shout out, and he really summed it up greatly. Like they're the true heroes out there. The guys playing ball, like that's entertainment. Enjoy that, but they're the true heroes, and we really do appreciate that, man.
Absolutely. So let's get to the football, Rob. I made the comment earlier, and I wanted to know how you feel about it, because I am not a fan of the people who are like, who cares that you beat the Cowboys? They're not a good football team. Because I look around the NFL, Rob, the Chiefs should have lost yesterday, okay? Yeah. I still don't know how the Bears got trounced by the Patriots yesterday. I mean, you look around the league, every week someone is losing a game. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that the Texans handed the game to the Lions, the Texans should have beat the Lions yesterday. So to me, I don't take games like yesterday for granted with the Eagles. What are your thoughts?
It's always, as every coach tells you, it's always hard to win in the National Football League, and it's true because, like you just outlined, Josh, you never know any given Sunday. The Saints, too, they come out of nowhere yesterday, 2-17, and they beat the Falcons, the team that's supposed to win the NFC South and is leading the division. You see upsets week in and week out. So you got to go out there, take care of business. Don't take anybody lightly. Yes, of course, the Cowboys are banged up. Dak Prescott's not out there. It's Cooper Rush. But we didn't know if we were going to see the version of Cooper Rush who led the Cowboys to a 4-1 record a couple of years ago, or the guy who really can't play quarterback at an elite level in the NFL, and that's why he was out there. Yeah. Anytime you're able to beat the Cowboys, that defense, put 34 points up on the board against the Cowboys, I'll take it.
Yeah, and what's crazy as well, Rob, is, let's talk about this. Jalen Hurts, he threw an interception. He had a fumble. But after those two mistakes, Rob, he went 7 for 12. He had 2 touchdown passes. I thought that the way he and the team responded to those turnovers was so critical yesterday.
That's a great point. And he hadn't made those mistakes, right? 4 games without a turnover. And we see it yesterday. It was a great play in the end zone by Trayvon Diggs on that pick in the red zone. And, yeah, certainly he wants that throw back, as I'm sure Sirianni said afterwards, right? They always want this one back and they want that one back. But it's how you respond. And, yeah, he lost another ball on a fumble, but they responded well. They didn't allow that to make the game closer than it should be. They were never really in serious at all of the outcome to where you thought, hey, the Cowboys can make a run here. They can surprise people. You win the game going away. And they were able to rest Jalen Hurts for most of the fourth quarter, Saquon Barkley and other guys. And that's what you needed in a game where you got Thursday Night Football coming up, battle for first place against the Commanders, to go out there and be able to win so convincingly and get some guys a little bit of rest before a big game. I think you accomplished everything you needed to see.
When you think about this team, Rob, I think the other point of conversation needs to be had is the fact that I think that the coaching staff has gotten better as the year has gone on. I think that when you look at Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, they are doing a much better job at in-game adjusting than they were earlier in the year.
They are, and I think it's familiarity with these guys, right? It's 2 new coordinators. Players are learning the scheme. Players are learning what the expectations are from the coordinators, and the coordinators are also learning a little bit. Now, obviously, on the offensive side, Kellen Moore knows what he has in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley, but still, on the defensive side, Vic Fangio needed some time to figure out how to best use some of the players the way he needed and who fits his scheme and who fits the style and what he wants. And you're right, they're getting better and better, but I also think they haven't reached that ceiling. They still can perform better. They still can play better. And that's kind of exciting for Eagles fans from that standpoint, because when you can win a game 34-6 and then still take away some things from it and go, we made a mistake here, we didn't do that, we allowed this, that shows you how much better this team can be. And I thought another big part of it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later, is the Detroit Lions looked very beatable against the Houston Texans, and the Texans gave that game away. We're talking about the Eagles being a potential number 1 seed. Like, they are right in that conversation where this team going down the stretch has a shot to battle for the number 1 seed. And obviously, big game, first things first, you got to take care of the division. And I think they will do that. I thought we saw a little bit of some of the Commanders' weaknesses yesterday showed up, and the Steelers were able to certainly take advantage of those. And it helped that it was Russell Wilson behind center, not Justin Fields, for the Steelers, and they came out on top. And we'll see what the Commanders have as a bounce back Thursday night against the Birds.
Talking to Rob Motti from the Associated Press here on 97.3 ESPN, at Rob Motti on the TwitX platform. Of course, he is senior NFL writer for the AP. You mentioned something before we get to the other teams, Rob, about the Eagles, and I want to highlight it really quick because you talked about how they're getting to know their players, and I think that is part of the conversation. I think we as sports fans have to adjust to, because the preseason is not treated the way it used to. I think we have to get into the better habits. We as analysts, fans, whatever you want to reference us or label us as, I think we all have to get better at realizing that what you see week 1, week 2, week 3 is not a predictor or an indictment of an entire team season anymore.
Yeah, Josh, I absolutely agree with you. I think we have to get in the mindset that September is really still training camp, because none of the star players, most of the starters are not playing in the preseason games. They're still getting acclimated with, in the Eagles' case, new coordinators, right? So it's even more so, whereas some teams where it's still the same system, same everybody, you can go out there in week 1 and kind of still have a little bit of you have a feel for each other, even though you didn't get your feet wet in training camp. I think that's what it is going forward. And eventually when they go to an 18-game season and they cut it to 2 preseason games, it's going to be even more so. September is going to be August. And the best teams, the teams that win big, the teams that win in February are the ones who are playing their best ball in November and December into January. That wasn't the Eagles last year. We saw, obviously, the collapse, the monumental collapse. I think this team is better positioned right now, mindset, talent-wise, and everything surrounding the Eagles to be able to handle the next 6-week stretch, 7-week stretch a whole lot better than they did last year, because they're not going to lose every game, and set themselves up nicely for a decent run in the postseason that could potentially end up with them in New Orleans.
Rob, I also got to get your thoughts on what happened after the game, because even though Micah Parsons is saying on his podcast today, Rob, that he never intended to throw Mike McCarthy under the bus, he clearly said that the players work harder than Mike McCarthy and that it's above his pay grade to care about Mike McCarthy's future. I mean, for a player of that pedigree to say that, in all this time, Rob, we haven't heard a single Eagles player throw Sirianni under the bus, no matter to the fans' chagrin. But here's a Cowboys player, clearly, even though they might not have intended it, he threw Mike McCarthy under the bus and ran over him a few times.
Oh, man, he absolutely did. And I like Micah Parsons, but I think Micah is making enough money to where he shouldn't have to even worry about doing a podcast. And the comments that he makes sometimes, and this wasn't even on a podcast. This was after the game in the locker room. I think you heard probably, I'm sure, Rex Ryan, how adamant he was and angry he was about the comments, referred to him as BS. And it's hard to defend. I don't know how you can defend Micah unless Mike McCarthy has somehow offended him, because to say that the players work harder than, listen, they do a lot physically. They put in a lot of time and effort and everything else from a physical standpoint, and certainly it takes a toll mentally, and you've got to know the playbook and you've got to practice and all that. But some of these coaches, and I'm sure Mike McCarthy's right up there with them, are spending 20 hours a day in the office. That's hard work. That's the incredible sacrifice that you're making, taking time away from loved ones and family to be in a building, to be going over everything that you're doing. It just wasn't right for him to say that. And I don't know what that's going to look like as far as the relationship between them going forward. But there's certainly some fences that needed to be mended.
Rob, you mentioned earlier in our conversation, Rob Miley from the Associated Press joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Lions, I mean, Jared Goff had 5 interceptions. The Eagles got 5 turnovers from the Cowboys, blew them out. Somehow Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions, Rob, and his team still wins. I mean, what on earth did I even watch last night?
That was amazing that the Texans could not take advantage of 5 interceptions, and they almost went back and forth with those picks. What did CJ finish with? 2, I believe. But at one point it was like back and pick again, and you got to be able to. And I know the Texans are shorthanded, and they're missing Collins and they're missing Diggs, and they're a little bit banged up, and the offensive line hasn't done a great job this year. Although they did a better job last night, giving CJ some time to throw. You got to be able to. If you're a team like the Texans are, with deep playoff aspirations. They won the division last year. You got to take advantage of that. But when you see the Lions are capable of making these mistakes like that, people were talking up the Lions going into that game as if they're the next coming. What Patriot was it? 2007 when the Patriots went undefeated with Brady and Randy Moss and that offense and some of those greatest show on turf offenses. Yeah, they're dynamic. They're a great team. They got a lot of weapons. And I love what Jared Goff has been able to do, resurrecting his career in Detroit. But I still think they're a beatable football team. And last night showed you how and why. And that's why I think it bodes well for the Eagles in January if they have to face each other, whether it's at the Link, whether it's in whatever they call it. I still refer to it as the Pontiac Silverdome, but I know it's got a different corporate name now.
Rob, we didn't mention the 49ers yet, who they got Christian McCaffrey back. You know, their offense looked pretty good yesterday, but I got to be honest with you. I'm a little worried about the 49ers defense right now. And not just because of the Mayfield throw where, I mean, that's got to be one of the 5 greatest throws I've ever seen. I mean, literally, he's got Nick Bosa on his arm and he still completes it to White. That was ridiculous. But I think the 49ers defense the whole year, I mean, are they average now, Rob, or am I reading this wrong?
Yeah, they've had some issues. They've had some struggles, and they're missing some guys. Ward is out, and he's away from the team because of the tragic circumstances, losing his young daughter, and they haven't had Dre Greenlaw, and even Bosa was playing banged up yesterday. But the 49ers certainly aren't the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. However, Josh, you look at this team historically, or at least over the last 2 years. Forget people say historically, and you're referring to like recent history. The last 2 years, let's keep it in perspective, right? I love correcting myself in the middle of a thought. The last 2 years after the bye is when they've played their best football. In 2022, they won 9 straight games and ended up losing to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. Last year, they won 6 straight games after the bye. So you can't win 6 or 9 until you win the first one, and yesterday was the first one after the bye. They've had some struggles first half of the season under Kyle Shanahan. So I mean, see what they look like going forward. Certainly Christian McCaffrey coming back is going to help the offense. The defense has some holes. Teams are going to be able to attack them different ways, and they got to clean that up. They got Brandon Staley, who Baker Mayfield referred to after the game as sort of leaving his imprint on that defense and kind of making life difficult for him yesterday. The Bucs had every opportunity to win that football game. They come down and they got a first down at the 8 thanks to 3 straight penalties. That's another area. I don't know how closely you were watching that last drive, but that was lack of discipline for the 49ers, to where you have 2 face masks, one of which went for roughing the passer in a row, and then an illegal use of hands that set the Bucs up to a first down at the 8, and they couldn't punch it in. They couldn't score. And then Todd Bowles' defense does what Todd Bowles' defense has always done over the past few years late in a game, and that's collapse, crumble under pressure. 41 seconds left, and you allow Brock Purdy to drive into game-winning field goal range. Can't have that happen. Reminds me of the playoff game when Brady brought him back from whatever it was, 27-3, tie game. You think it's going to go to overtime. Next thing you know, here come the Rams, and they win the game on a last-second field goal in regulation. This is an area of concern for the Bucs with Todd Bowles' defense, which hasn't been the same in quite a bit, except when they play Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
Right, exactly. 2 more for AP senior NFL writer Rob Motti here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig talking with you guys on a Monday night. Rob, I want to know from you, are the Arizona Cardinals real?
Man, great question. I don't think beating Aaron Rodgers and a New York Jets team that just looks like they have quit qualifies as the Cardinals are for real. But I've been impressed. I've been more impressed, and I need to start giving them some respect, and I need to stop picking the stinking Jets to win football games because they're ruining my record, my pro picks record. But Kyler Murray, man, against a pretty good pass defense. I know the Jets have some issues stopping the run, but they got a pretty darn good pass defense, and he kind of carved them up. That was very impressive. He wasn't making mistakes. I still don't know how he does the things that he does as small as he is. Like I thought there was one play, there was a blitz, I forget who it was, absolutely almost like decapitated him, and he bounced right back up. And he did fumble, but the dude, I don't know if you saw this play, and I wanted to complain about this, and I'm glad I have this forum right now, because the guy sacked him, took his head off almost, and got up immediately to celebrate, not realizing the ball was kind of loose, and he could have turned around to try and pick up the fumble, but no, let me get up and start celebrating a sack instead of looking for the ball. But, yeah, to answer your question about the Cardinals, they're starting to look more and more real. I still don't think they end up winning the NFC West. I'm going to stick with the 49ers.
Yeah, that was Williams who decapitated him. By the way, that's multiple times now in NFL Week 10 that a quarterback has been assaulted by a defender. Remember Joe Burrow on Thursday night, Kyler Murray yesterday. Where's the roughing the passer, Rob? I thought that was supposed to be enforced. I guess not.
Well, they're within the rules and clean and all of that stuff. So I thought.
Oh, come on, Rob. Burrow got punched in the face.
Yeah, that one. There was a couple. Someone else too got hit in the face mask. Maybe that was Burrow, but the one on Kyler I thought was pretty clean. I just thought it was a pretty stupid play where you're not looking for the fumble. You certainly can use any turnover you can get with the way that game was going.
All right, Rob. Before I let you go, this is a very important question I have to ask you because it was a conversation we were having earlier today on the Sports Bash. So, Rob. So for those who didn't see the videos, the guy Oz the Mentalist goes to all the NFL teams, and everyone's talking about the video with him and the Eagles players from that came out yesterday. He does it with all the NFL teams. So, Rob, my position is Oz the Mentalist is not real. He's a great entertainer. He is great at researching his targets, and he purposely targets certain players because he knows those are the ones that he can get over with, let's call it. I don't believe he is. I think it's a great entertainment, but I don't think he's real. I think he's a bit of a showman.
Who's that?
Oz the Mentalist.
Oh man, yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get how that happens. How he does that. Obviously, I certainly don't believe in magic. I believe in Jesus. So some of all that. Every time I see that, I'm blown away. Whenever he does those tricks and everything else he does, but I think you're right. Yeah, you target the those you can go after, and you can win those. You can come out on top in that.
Like the whole thing with the M&Ms being inside the orange. I mean, it's like, well, if you look up Saquon Barkley's history, he has said before he likes M&Ms. I mean, it's like some of these things I'm just kind of like, he's a great entertainer, okay? But listen, we all know that if you ever go to a magic show, they're not really cutting the woman in half, okay? That blade isn't actually ever touching her, okay? This isn't the movie The Prestige where they actually killed people in that movie. No, this stuff is just an illusion.
You're right, and it requires excellent research, tremendous research, and he gets the job done, and he goes out there, targets specific guys, and knows what he has to do. But it is quite mesmerizing, man, when you're watching that stuff and you're seeing it. Like, how did that happen? I always want to know. I always want the reality of it. I need to step by step, and then show me exactly what happened, because otherwise it's going to get on my nerves.
Yeah, I'm the eternal skeptic, Rob. I trust nothing and ask questions about everything. So I'm the guy you would never bring me to anything like that. I will ruin it for everybody.
I can't argue with that posture, man. I can't.
Really quick before I let you go, did you ever hear my Santa Claus story?
No.
So the audience has heard this before. So when I was a kid, my kindergarten class went to see Santa Claus. And when I was a kid, no one could tell me Santa Claus was real. I thought it was the most fake thing in the world. I literally got on Santa's lap as a 5-year-old, pulled his beard off, and they had to call my mom to come get me.
So you never even it took me till second grade when Mr. Stannis, my second grade teacher, had to yell at me and make sure I didn't tell the other kids that Santa wasn't real. So I got to second grade when I became that kid who knew. And then I wasn't – here's the problem. I wasn't smart enough to go along with it so I can get double the presents. Those kids, shout out to them. Go along with it. Make sure your parents are doubling up. Santa's got to give you a gift. and then mommy and daddy give you a gift. I should have gone along with it. I did it. I thought I was all smart, but I didn't do anything quite like you assaulting a Santa Claus at 5 years old.
Listen, it's like Star Wars. The dark side is strong with this one. Okay.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm the eternal skeptic. Rob, appreciate you jumping on as always. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, Josh. Keep up the great work, buddy.
Appreciate you. Rob Motti joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Yeah, I've told that story on the radio a few times at this point, so the secret is out. There's another side to me, folks. There is another side to this guy. And if kids are listening to this radio station when I'm on the radio, sorry, man. I will leave it up to the parents to explain that to the kids, not to me. Someone just texted in and say, guys, kids are listening to this stuff. Listen, the reason why your kids are listening to this stuff because a lot of content on television and the radio you can't listen to because they're dropping all kinds of foul language. If your biggest problem is your kid learning that Santa Claus might not be real in the perception that you put it out there, that's a you problem, okay? I'm not going to sit up here and put out, foul language. I'm not going to talk about perverted stuff. I'm not going to talk about, inappropriate R-rated content, okay? So if you're worried about me talking about Santa Claus potentially not being real, that's a you problem, man. It's not a me problem. If you got to cover up, why don't you tell your kid about how Santa Claus is actually a real person? Kris Kringle, Saint Nick, he's actually a real person. Why don't you tell them the history of Santa Claus, not the mall guy version? Listen, kids, Saint Nick, he's real. He just ain't the guy at the mall. Sorry. Josh Hennick here on 97.3 ESPN, hanging out with you on a Monday night.
Here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and Miami lost a heartbreaker last week in Buffalo. Now they take on Matthew Stafford and a Rams team on a 3-game winning streak. Join us for all the action on Monday Night Football.
Listen to Monday Night Football on 97.3 ESPN. Brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to book today.
Cooper's our new neighbor down the shore.
Introducing Cooper University Hospital, Cape Regional.
Healthcare is going to improve in Cape May County.
We're excited to bring our award-winning care to our new neighbors in Cape May and Atlantic counties. You'll have greater access to top specialists, advanced technology, innovative treatments, and outstanding cancer care at MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper. Cooper University Healthcare.
Extraordinary happens here.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
The official Eras Tour book coming to Target on November 29th, featuring over 500 photographs from the tour, including never-before-seen performance and behind-the-scenes images. And for the first time, the Tortured Poets Department, The Anthology, with 35 tracks on CD and vinyl.
Only at Target.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Your luxury BMW experience is closer than you think. Take advantage of exceptional savings at BMW of Atlantic City. Stop in and shop your favorite models, including the new BMW 2 Series, X3, and more. We're sure to have a vehicle that fits your needs. And with Acceleride, purchase your vehicle online and we'll deliver it directly to you. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your current vehicle. Experience luxury today at BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. In Egg Harbor Township, shop our complete inventory online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know millions of people are getting prescription medications for weight loss, sexual health, better sleep, and more, all online? RexMD.com has made getting these medications fast and easy, with free delivery of the most popular medications right to your door. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, we'll prescribe and ship clinically proven options to help with issues like weight loss.
I've lost 45 pounds so far. It's nice to get back into clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a long time.
We can also help with insomnia.
I slept through the whole night. It made me feel very well rested and ready to go for the day.
And RexMD can improve your sexual health.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is happier. I am definitely much happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. Keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
By the way, I started listening to what Micah Parsons had to say on his podcast. The dude just dug a bigger hole for himself. He went from being the guy who disrespects his coach to the guy who disrespects everybody. I'll have to grab that audio for tomorrow. Good grief. We only got about a minute and change left in the show here, so let's get some text in before we get out of here at 609-403-0973. Tom from Margate chimes in and says, hey, Josh, Mr. Skeptic, do you think the Eagles will want to enough on Thursday to beat that Washington team, whatever they're called nowadays? That's from Tom in Margate. Yeah, formerly the Redskins, then the football team, now the Commanders. Yeah, whatever they're called. I do think they'll have enough 1-2 because I think that when you're a team that's on a 5-game winning streak, you start getting into that mode where it's like, we want to do what we got to do to keep the good things going. And if you go into now an extended week off with a 6-game winning streak, you feel a little extra good about yourself. A little bit of extra, pride, strutting your step, a little extra, keeping your head up, a little extra smile, a little bit extra, bragging rights. I think the Eagles want to win this division. I really do. I think this team, there is a part of them that wants to win this division. So I tend to believe that that's where they're going. Jeff from Ocean City wants to know any plays for the game tonight. Again, Monday Night Football tonight. Coverage begins at 7:30 here on 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers will be on their sister station, Rock 104.1, the Rock 104.1 mobile app. So here's the deal. I tend to think that my biggest play for tonight, I would go with probably one of those touchdowns. Look, the anytime touchdown score hit for us yesterday with Travis Kelce, so I'm liking a, I got a feeling that we're going to see some touchdowns in this game. You know what? I would say just go Stafford over on the touchdown pass. What is his number? 1.5, I believe it was, is the number I saw. My only problem with this game is this might not be a game that's going to be decided early. You might have to watch for the whole thing to find out decided. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great everybody.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
He puts it up and in. A three-point opportunity for PG. Great job by George.
It's Sixers Knicks tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 7:30. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather